guys, welcome back to Divine Destiny Tarot. So today we're going to do a pick a card reading on what's the tea on you. So I basically channeled some messages from the people around you that have basically been speaking on your name. So take the messages how they resonate and leave the rest. If you would like to purchase any of my products or book me for a personal reading, I will leave the link in the description box below, and it'll be the first link. So if you would like to jump to your reading, I would go to the timestamps below in the comment section. I have them pinned, and you can click on them and go straight to your reading. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump into pile 1. This is pile 2, and this is pile 3. All right. So let's see what's the tea on you, pile 1. If you chose this pile, this is your reading. All right. So I got the Mother card in the reverse, the Lover card in the reverse, and the Secret card. All right, pile 1. So the Mother card says, smothering or abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for being independent. I feel like sometimes people could feel like you're a bit smothering when it comes to your children. I did get the Two of Cups card, so I feel like you could be a very independent parent. You may not be with your partner, and if you're with your partner, I feel like you can be very smothering at times, because I did get the Two of Cups. So that really speaks of having an imbalance within our connections, as well as having an imbalance within our emotions. I feel like people feel like you could be emotionally imbalanced at times when it comes to your children, your family. I'm also seeing with the Lovers card, it says obsessive passion that harms others, self-destructive devotion. I feel like you're very overly devoted to your relationships here. And I feel like that leads to a lot of heartbreak in your life with this Three of Swords. You could be healing from relationship issues that you went through in the past. With the Four of Cups in the reverse, it speaks of coming out of this energy of feeling discontent and unhappy with your life. I've also got the Secret card, so it says inability to commit to a path once found. You may have an inability to be able to commit to a relationship, or perhaps when you start new projects, it's hard for you to fully commit. And it leaves you feeling very discontent and unhappy with this Four of Cups energy coming out. I feel like a lot of you need to heal. You may be dealing with a lot of mental anxiety surrounding your relationships and also your finances. I feel like a lot of you are trying to come up with new business ideas. People see that. They see that you're very creative with this this Page of Pentacles. A lot of you are moving forward. I feel like people talk about your vehicle as well with this Chariot energy. They could also talk about your family. You may come from a very dysfunctional family, and that's something that's being talked about. I feel like people realize that you had to go through a lot when it comes to these family members. Like, I feel like people feel like these family members are very toxic, and you had to go through a lot of challenges and obstacles in these relationships. And this has made you strong in return. I feel like y'all have healed a lot of trauma. I feel like a lot of you could have had smothering mothers too with this card. Like, I feel like your mother was I feel like your mother didn't want you to be independent, so she would install guilt into you to make you feel like you couldn't be independent on yourself and go out on your own and accomplish things. I don't feel like this mother was very nurturing, so I feel like people were talking about the relationships that you have with your mother. The relationship. And I also feel like people were talking about your love life with this Lovers in the reverse. People will feel like sometimes you can be a little pessimistic. You can be a grouch, especially when things aren't growing the way you want them to grow. But I also feel like people think that you're very soft. They feel like you have a very loving, kind nature about you. You could be like 30, 40, 50, and you have the inner child of like a 4 or 5-year-old. And I also feel like people feel like you can be toxic at times. Like you might have habits. You might smoke cigarettes, smoke weed. You could be a dancer. A lot of you may have had like a very promiscuous past in your relationships. And this has led to a lot of heartbreak and grief with this Two of Cups and Three of Swords. But I definitely feel like people are talking about your love life and your family life. All right, so let's get into some more cards. All right, so we got the 9th house, Sagittarius. It says higher learning, travel, religion, philosophy. I feel like you're very intelligent with the Sagittarius energy. You may be into traveling, and you may also be into religion or philosophy. I also feel like some of you are actual students. You may have went back to school to get some type of higher learning. People think you're very bold, practical, and experimental. You may be very plump or curvy. You also may have small eyes. So I'm getting someone that has very Egyptian-like eyes. All right, I got perceivers. It says, perceivers prefer to keep their options open, like to be able to act spontaneously, and like to be flexible with making plans. I feel like that's how you are when it comes to your relationships. I feel like you like to be flexible. If something isn't serving you, I don't feel like you're going to stay in it, especially if it's a connection. And I feel like you have a lot of different options when it comes to love. That may be something that people talk about. They say that you have a bunch of different partners and options with this little devil card. They could be like, she's promiscuous. Now, I'm not saying any of this stuff is true, because it couldn't be true. It could be totally false, but this is what people think about you. They think you're very curvy, very plump, and they feel like you get a lot of attention when it comes to men or women. But I feel like for some of you, this is a woman. And if you're a man, people think that you're very, very kind, very loving. You have a soft heart. But I don't feel like you let people run over you. I feel like you're very creative. But sometimes your creativity can cause you to be in this energy of feeling very upset. I feel like a lot of you came from a background with mothers and even fathers, I'm hearing, that were very hard on you. And a lot of you had to become independent because you didn't have people that pushed you. You didn't have people that motivated you. And this is why sometimes you can be a grouch. But I see that you're moving forward. A lot of you are buying new vehicles, I'm seeing. A lot of you are moving through a very hard time emotionally with this Strength card and this Four of Cups. You may have been put in a third-party situation, and that's something that people talk about as well. And I feel like sometimes you can devote yourself to your relationships to the point where they're a bit toxic. I feel like people are talking about that as well. Because I feel like you've been backstabbed before by people that you thought that you could trust. And this is why. Because it says self-destructive devotion. You devote yourself to the point where you self-destruct because you give too much. And it says obsessive passion that harms others. So you can be so passionate about somebody. If they cheat on you, you'll fucking try to slash their tires or do some crazy ass shit. I'm hearing. That's why this grouch card is coming out. All right. So I feel like a lot of you are on an inner journey, but there's an inability to find a path that aligns for you. I feel like you're being guided to have inner strength when it comes to these situations because you are moving forward. And this could relate to your family too. I feel like there's a bunch of instability within your family life. You may feel isolated from your family, like you can't go to them. And you're in a period of mental healing right now. I also feel like a lot of you are creating a lot of different business ideas that are going to bring in a lot of financial success. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this reading out. I hope you guys received the messages that you needed. Okay. All right, if you picked pile 2, this is your reading. I got Messiah. It says serving humanity with humility. A lot of people look up to you when it comes to your spiritual gifts. I feel like you're this energy that is willing to help anyone and everyone. I feel like you have a lot of humility, but sometimes you may have a spiritual ego. I'm seeing somebody that has a savior complex. People might be saying that about you. Because I got the teacher card and it says, manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills. A lot of people feel like you could be very destructive when it comes to manipulating people. I feel like people think that when you impart advice, sometimes it can be more destructive than constructive. But I do feel like people think that you're very charming and you have some type of potential to gain power over others. I got the Judge card, the Skater, and the Serpent. So some people feel like you're judgmental because you have a lot of spiritual authority. And I was getting that God complex here with the Messiah. People think that you have some type of God complex, and this is God. He is the judge in this tarot deck. I feel like people also feel like you skate through life. It's easy for you to get out of obstacles, whereas when others are going through stuff, it's harder for them to cope. But I feel like people feel like you skate through life easily. I also feel like people may think that you're a snake, or you're very flexible when it comes to your skills. Like it's easy for you to maneuver around people. And I feel like when you come, people don't see you coming. Like you're the underdog. I think you're precious too, because I see this jewel in this snake's mouth. So I feel like you're very precious. You have this like radiant energy around you with this Prince card. I heard people think that you're royalty. I don't know what that means, but that's what I'm hearing. So I got the Lover's card in the reverse, the Ace of Cups, the World card in the reverse, the Knight of Wands, the Nine of Pentacles, and then I also got the Seven of Pentacles. I feel like a lot of you have been really focused on self-love, and people are noticing it. They feel like you've been more independent. Or perhaps you've just been really focused on yourself. Also feel like people are talking about your love connections with the Lover's card. You may have been in some very toxic situations where you surrounded yourself with snakes, and people are talking about that, how people treated you. I feel like for some of you, you may have been in a connection where somebody had you waiting. Where's that card at? I'm seeing it. Someone had you waiting in some type of connection that you were in. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles, Ace of Cups. And I feel like people realize that this person just had you in a cycle. That's for some of you. This person could have been very charming, but they were using their power against you. They had different motives here. And I'm also hearing that a lot of people see that you're very impulsive and you go after what you want. But sometimes you can be a hothead, and it's easy for you to get into conflicts with people. I feel like you're very financially independent. You do most of the stuff that you do on your own. You don't need anyone. Let me get some more cards. People feel like you're one of God's angels too. Like, whenever you need anything, you can just go to him and he takes care of it. Like, people feel like they get karma from God because of you. Like, you're God's favorite angel. You're his right hand. You're his go-to. I heard that. All right. So we got well-built, athletic. You may be well-built or athletic. The third house, Gemini, this rules the mind and intellect. It says, drives your overall learning and communication processes. So you may be very smart. You may have a triangle face, or your face is just kind of like slender and beautiful. I feel like people are talking about some type of vacation you may have went on. This card says you are the Beyonce of your group. So I know y'all know about Destiny's Child. Like, Beyonce had such a queen complex about her back then. But I feel like that's something that people say too. Like, you have this queen complex about you. Yeah, y'all know I love me some Beyonce. I do. But I feel like she can be a bit bossy and arrogant at times. People could be saying that about you. People could also be saying that you just stand out in your group. You're very talented. It says strong neck ass. So you may have a beautiful neckline, or perhaps you just have a very strong mindset. Like, you have a strong will. You're very royal. Like, I feel like the heavy the crown, I mean, there's this one saying, I can't think of it. The heavy the head that wears the crown. So I feel like you're very responsible. And with this Prince energy, I feel like you bring this like royal energy. But with this Lover's card, I feel like people sometimes feel like you make bad decisions when it comes to love. Or perhaps when it comes to new love, you tend to like dive so deep and invest so much time on love that it takes a lot out of you. And you end up in a cycle with these people. What else am I seeing? I feel like a lot of you have been saving money and you've been investing a lot of time into your finances, and people see that. I feel like if you've been busy doing a lot of different things, people have noticed that and they see that you're building for yourself. You're not just jumping into anything and everything. You're actually taking your time. And you're really focused on self-love with this Ace of Cups. I also feel like someone's talking about a new relationship that you've gotten in. I feel like you've invested a lot of time in this connection. And with the Lover's card, you could make bad decisions sometimes, just in general, but who doesn't? You know what I'm saying? I feel like the people that sit here that are talking about you are very judgmental with this Judge card. And I feel like they're also snakes. These people could be from your past. These could be people that you've skated by. I feel like if these are friends and family from the past, they're upset because where they might have got knocked down by life, you didn't. And they feel like it's easy for you to just get through shit. And that makes them jealous. So that's the message for someone. I'm going to go ahead and move on to pile 3. All right. Pile 3, this is your reading. So we got the Sabotager. It says, highlights your fear of self-empowerment and changes it would bring to your life. I feel like back in the day, you used to self-sabotage a lot. And people are realizing that you're no longer in that energy, and you're in this energy of learning how to empower yourself. I got the Vampire card. Now in the reverse, it says, depleting others for your psychic revival, chronic complaining, and codependency. A lot of you could have had codependency problems in your connections where you depleted people because of your negativity. You may have self-sabotaged your relationships. Intentionally or unintentionally, I'm hearing. But see how this person has this little, whatever she has in her hand, she's gonna like pop the balloon, but when she pops the balloon, she falls too. I feel like a lot of you may, this is what people are talking about. People say that you're kind of like parasitic in a manner. Like, I feel like a lot of you may complain a lot and you're very pessimistic, because I got the angel card in the reverse. And it says, acting innocent or angelic to mislead others, falsely claiming to be in touch with your angelic guidance. So I feel like people feel like you mislead people and you're very pessimistic and cold sometimes, to where you self-sabotage your own connections. I got the bull rider, so I feel like people also feel like you take chances, you're not afraid. You may be a Taurus. I got king. I feel like you're very royal, or you just have this royal energy about you. It's easier for you to guide people. And I also feel like a lot of y'all are natural born leaders. Disruptor. Okay, this is what I'm getting. Because you chronically complain a lot, I feel like you disrupt people when they're trying to, you know, go about their life. I feel like that's something that a lot of people talk about. Like, you just call them out of nowhere and start talking about all your issues and don't even give them a chance to even voice their opinion. I feel like people will talk about how you self-sabotage yourself sometimes through just being, you know, in this energy of just disruptive to your own balance. All right, so you could have yellow skin, or you have a yellow skin tone. Plenty of fish in the sea. I feel like you have a lot of different options. Copycat ass bitches. I feel like people feel like you copy people, or perhaps people copy you. I got white witch. So people feel like you do white magic. Practical, fact-minded, reliable. People think you're a very practical, reliable person. And you're very fact-minded. Like, you're not going to just take something that someone says. You actually go look up the receipts. Then I also got unforgiving. So there's some times where people feel like you can be very unforgiving when it comes to situations. Page of Cups. So people feel like sometimes you can be too heavily in your emotions. And the Queen of Cups is the vampire card for me. This is somebody that tends to suck the life out of people through their emotions. And especially if you've been imbalanced within your emotions, I feel people feel that way. Like when they come around you, you kind of deplete them with your emotions and everything that's going on in your life. King of Pentacles, but I do feel like with this King of Pentacles coming out and this King card, you're really focused on your money. You could be very financially stable. And I feel like this is why. I feel like more money, more problems. I feel like you have a lot of money. And because you have all this money, you have a lot of problems that come with that as well. And you may go to friends a lot and complain about it and disrupt their life because you got a lot going on over here, especially if you have a business or if you're just really like goal-oriented. Devil card. I feel like people see that you're releasing toxic energies, toxic people, or perhaps these people feel like when they don't talk to you, it's like they're releasing a lot of toxicity because you bring a lot of negative energy. I'm not saying that this is true. This is what people are saying. Four of Pentacles, because there's some stuff that you hold on to, especially emotions. Page of Cups, emotions. What did I just say? People feel like you can sometimes be emotionally immature with the Queen of Cups in the reverse and the Page of Cups. And the Six of Swords. I also feel like a lot of you are traveling or you're moving on from a situation, and people see that as well. I feel like with this sabotager card, this really speaks of you empowering yourself through realizing that sometimes you can be toxic yourself, you know? And when you're able to like admit that, you know what to fix. But as long as you don't admit it to yourself and you act like you don't do these things, but you do, then I mean, you're not going to be able to heal. But yeah, Spirit definitely wants you to work on this energy of putting yourself in between people and what they got going on. Because I feel like people do talk about that. They feel like you always are in the middle of stuff, I'm hearing with this card. All right, so that's all I got for you, pile 3. I hope you all received the messages that you needed, and I'm sending you all light and love. Have a great day.